Right, so we're going to try something new here. We're going to try recording by myself and hopefully not being too boring and coming up with some content, some talking points, some topics, get enough to stitch together, or just do it free form like this, all in one take, Bill Burr style, Thursday morning, Monday morning podcast, whatever. I'm going to try not to say too much. That's going to be hard, but I will get used to it. I don't think I should be looking right in the camera. I'm not really sure. So, what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about yo-yos. One of the most commonly asked questions I get is, how do you come up with a new yo-yo trick? I have a little bit of experience with that. I have a Trick Innovator of the Year under my belt. I have some 5A and 1A and a couple 4A tricks that I invented. There it is. I'm saying already. So people ask me it a lot, and my number one answer is always do a trick that you know how to do wrong. And I learned this from Steve Brown. He told me or posted or something at some point that when he wants to come up with new tricks, he does tricks he already knows the wrong way. Now, a perfect example of this that I like to use is double or nothing. Double or nothing, you swing around your fingers twice, you land on the front string. So you want to do that wrong? Land on the middle string. Land on the back string. That's the most basic ways to do double or nothing wrong. You can get a little more esoteric and interesting with it. Miss the string. Miss the front string on purpose. Okay. Now, how about you miss the middle string? How about you go for the middle string, but you miss it? Now there's a kink in your string, in your double or nothing. You can get to a bucket real easy from there. You can miss the back string and swing around 2 more times. You can cross your arms before you land on the front string. Do a double or nothing cross-armed, land on front string, and you just see where you are from there. One good thing to do maybe is film yourself. Just set up a camera, set up your phone on a tripod with some good lighting, and try to forget about it. That's what I do. Try to forget that you're being filmed and just film for an hour or a half hour or 10 minutes. And then you can go back and watch, and or if you remember something cool happening, stop the recording. You'll know it's right at the end then. So you'll have a clip and you'll know right at the end I hit something good. I don't remember what it was, but I hit something cool. Go back, watch it, try to replicate it, do it smooth. And that brings me to the last point. So you came up with a trick. That's great, but presentation is incredibly important. You need to film it nicely, as nice as you are capable of filming it. I mean, camera phones now are unbelievable. If you have an iPhone, it's a movie camera. People record movies with them, literally. So there's no excuse, really. You need to get a ring light from Amazon. They're $20. It's like used for makeup videos and stuff. Get one of those. It holds your phone in the middle. It's a tripod. It's a light, all in one. Get a dark background. Wear a dark shirt. Please wear a dark shirt if you're using light colored string, which you should be. And film it as nicely as you can. Maybe come up with a name for it. This gets into another thing I want to talk about. Show people. Show your friends. Show someone more knowledgeable who's been yo-yoing for 10 plus years and ask them, have you seen this before? Never claim a trick unless you really know for sure. In this day and age, we've kind of outgrown claiming and naming tricks as far as I'm concerned. Everything's been done. No, that's not true. everything has not been done. That is, scratch that from the record. What I mean is the type of tricks being done today are so dense, so technical for the most part, usually, that it's better to just introduce them, let people enjoy them, but don't stress over, I created this, I created that. If you come up with a new element, like around the neck Brent stole, whoever came up with that, that's a different story. Then you might want to lay claim a little bit and say, like, I was the first guy to ever do and record around the neck Brent stole. But if we're talking just a technical combo in 1A or 5A or 3A, it's a combo most likely. It's probably not a fully fleshed out trick, and you should just film it and let people enjoy it and appreciate that you came up with that on your own without watching someone else, without learning step by step someone else's trick from a video they posted. It's extremely satisfying to it's the most satisfying thing in yo-yoing. It's the by far the main reason I still play with yo-yos and have been for over half my life. It's just the creativity. You can get creative. You can come up with things that you've never seen before, and they feel good. So I want to talk about a little point I just said. In this day and age, naming tricks is kind of silly. And I haven't really ever thought about that. Back in the day, back in the early 2000s, when tricks like suicide, laceration, breath, rancid milk, spirit bomb were being invented, they got named. And we learn those tricks to this day. But they are like, as far as I'm concerned, those are like the founding fathers. Those are the building blocks of modern yo-yoing. And to try to do that now, so many years later, to try to come up with a trick that first of all is completely new is very difficult, and then to make it such a worthwhile, beautiful, perfectly composed trick that it's worth actually naming is hard. I came up with a handful of tricks that I named. One of them was Cool Whip, which is a 5A trick. It's very clearly an element that hadn't been done before. It was very fresh at the time, so I felt like it deserved a name to distinguish itself. It didn't even stick. No one who does that trick or similar tricks ever references the name Cool Whip. It was just for me to remember this trick better, was slapping a name on it. There's some people that remember it, but by and large, most don't. So it's not necessary, in my opinion. I think it was necessary back in the day, like I said, in the early 2000s, when these guys were really pushing the limits of what could be done with the equipment at the time. And I'm thankful that they named their tricks. But now we are no longer really pushing the equipment anymore, which is sort of a different discussion, but we are at a point where the equipment has by far surpassed us. There's yo-yos like, oh, it's in my pocket, like this, the Hinemosu by Turning Point. That, I mean, this thing has huge titanium rings on it. It's beautiful. It spins forever. There is not a trick I could ever fathom in my brain that can't be performed on this yo-yo. So we're no longer pushing the equipment like they were back when they were using renegades and hitting suicides and lacerations on starburst yo-yos that snap back and crack you in the knuckles. It was just a different time. And I don't know what I'm really trying to say here other than don't stress over naming tricks. Don't stress over laying claim to a trick that you came up with. Just enjoy sharing it. It's different now. We no longer have to record to film and upload a video. to be downloaded by people. We just simply share it to Instagram and tag Trick Circle. It's much faster paced. It's much easier. You can do it more often. You can do it whenever you please. You can share a trick with the entire world. So it's just different now. It's just different. I maybe got off track from trick creation here, but let me see if there was something else I wanted to mention about that. Definitely just presentation is so important. And if you truly are super excited about an element or something you came up with, it's very important to ask around and show people and say, have you seen this before? Before you go around saying, I invented something. So check out Aqueous. That's a trick I named for for no reason. It's on my YouTube. I named that trick pretty much in homage to breath. I wanted to come up with something really hard, really slack based that encapsulated everything about my 1A style that I think is special and interesting. I wanted to encapsulate into one trick, and I think I did that. I know I did. That one trick to me represents my 1A style. And so I recorded it in similar lighting to breath and with just a water soundtrack, running water in the background, and it took me hours and hours and hours to hit. My string actually was bloody by the time I hit it, just from string burn. And it's the trick I'm most proud of. So check it out. Let's get a little resurgence on Aqueous going, shall we? Why not? It's sort of been lost to time. I mean, some people know about it, some don't. But check it out. It's a good example of a trick I'm really proud of that I created and named. Again, probably not necessary to name it, but I did. Let's see. Yeah, so let's talk about this yo-yo I got, the Hinemosu. We'll do a little mini yo-yo review, then we can call it quits here. This thing is pretty incredible. I've been on a Japanese yo-yo kick lately. Turning Point, Yo-Yo Recreation, Japan Technology, and they are not what I'm used to whatsoever, but I'm really enjoying them. My whole life I've really enjoyed different yo-yos, and I've always sort of tried to avoid things that are designed purely for peak performance. And some would look at these, I always looked at these in the past, at Turning Points especially, as like, okay, these are designed for peak performance and they're going to play boring. I just assumed this without ever playing them. Playing with this, the Hinemosu and the Colony, which they're the same shape, more or less. The Colony just has smaller stainless steel rings versus the Hinemosu's very large titanium rings. Very similar shaped yo-yos, though. But playing with these, I am sure it has everything to do with them being Takeshi Matsura's signature models. He has been yo-yoing a long time, and he knows what feels good in a yo-yo. And these feel really good. They are extremely performance-driven. They are extremely expensive. I would not pay MSRP for well, we can get into that at the end, but they are fun. I don't know how else to put it. Part of it is just how well they perform that makes them fun, but another part of it is simply the design. Kentaro knows how to design a yo-yo. Takeshi knows what he wants, and it shows. They aren't boring at all, in my opinion, especially the Colony. The Hinemosu is a little more boring just because it's a little more sluggish. It feels heavier and more solid, more brick-like than the Colony. But that said, this thing will spin literally forever, and that is very fun in itself because I keep pulling it back up and it hurts my hand because it's still spinning so fast. I'm not used to a yo-yo that spins for 3 minutes solid. So it makes it fun because I can just yo-yo for longer. And it makes it a great yo-yo for creating tricks on and making mistakes with because it really handles anything without snagging, without running out of spin. You can just keep going and going and going. And you get the black light going, you get some tunes going, you get the weed going. You're having a great night yo-yoing. It's a fun one for it because you just don't have to worry about it. It's just like, this thing's going to handle whatever I throw at it. And we're going to have some fun figuring out some new tricks. So I've come up with a lot of tricks since I got this thing. That's always a fun phenomenon too. You get a new yo-yo and it reignites your passion for yo-yoing, and it makes you more excited about it. And when you're excited, you come up with new stuff. At least for me, that's how it works. So you're ever in a slump, not trying to be Mr. Pro Consumer over here, but, pick up a new yo-yo. Go buy a Dunk from Yo-Yo Expert or Yo-Yo Sam, a Dunk Rebound. Try a new size. Try a D-size bearing yo-yo out. Try a A-size bearing yo-yo, one of the freehands. Try something different, and maybe it will make you look at yo-yoing a little differently, and maybe you'll come up with something new. Just a thought. But yeah, so the price of these things, I don't know what the Colony costs. It's an older yo-yo. The Hinemosu goes for like $220, I think. I might be wrong. I know it's over $200. I personally would not pay that. I just can't justify it. It's fun and it's good, but it's just not, to me, worth that much. But hey, if you have the money, go for it. If you truly want this thing, you tried one out and you're like, this is my dream yo-yo, it's a good investment. It's going to last the rest of your life. If it's your dream yo-yo, go for it. For me, it's not. And it's just something fun to have around. So I got mine used for markedly cheaper. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to shit on the price. It is what it is. They know what they can charge for it, and they sell out. So they just cost a lot. But it's you can't shit on them for it. It is a high-quality yo-yo. It's not glass smooth, I will tell you that. Neither of these are glass smooth. Maybe it's because I got them used, but they aren't damaged, so they just don't. But that's okay. We can have a whole discussion about smoothness. Smoothness is important, but I prefer a non-glass smooth yo-yo because they bind better, and most importantly, you can feel it on the string better. You can feel how much spin you have left in the yo-yo without checking, without putting your finger on it. You get a knack for it as you yo-yo for years and years and years, like I have been, and you can just do a trapeze and feel, all right, this yo-yo has about this much spin left for me to do the tricks I want to do. If I want to do a rejection, I need to have a certain amount of spin power to get the yo-yo to reject the string. If I want to do a grind, obviously, you need a lot of spin power to grind on your skin. It's a lot of friction. So it's important to know this combo has a rejection at the end. You got to throw a fresh throw, do the combo, get to the rejection at the end. You got to know you have enough spin power for that. It's important. So from a feeling standpoint, I really appreciate a yo-yo with a little bit of vibe to it because I'm able to read it better and tell how much spin is left. That said, there's something to be said for glass smooth yo-yos. I think they're really cool. They feel good on your finger. They feel good when you're grinding. But it's not something that I judge a yo-yo on at all, really, unless it's straight up wobbly, and then that's a problem. But I don't remember the last time I tried a modern yo-yo that was wobbly. It doesn't happen anymore. It used to happen all the time back in the day, but standards are good now. Yo-yo quality is good, design is better, machine shops are better. It's all good. So yeah, these aren't glass smooth, but they play great. I absolutely love them. So that's a solid little mini episode. This is my first time doing this. Cut me some slack. I hope it's entertaining. Maybe it's not. Maybe no one will listen. But I wanted to get some thoughts out about trick creation. There's so much. You could go on and on. There's stuff I missed. There's stuff that'll come to me as soon as I stop recording. But I hope the stuff I did share was somewhat interesting to someone. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening.